ito sa pagtunaw ng taba sa katawan. For the longest time, marami na yung gustong tunawin yung kanilang excess na taba sa katawan. May it be the subcutaneous fats or most importantly, the visceral fats o yung mga taba na nakapalibot sa ating internal organs and also the ones filling up our liver and of course inside our tinatawag nating viscera because too much visceral fats are linked into cardiovascular disease o yung sakit sa puso, pagkakaroon ng heart attack, or pagkakaroon ng stroke. For the longest time, akala natin yung sikreto sa pagtunaw o pagpapababa ng taba sa ating katawan ay ang pag-iwas sa pagkain na matataba. Marami na yung hindi na kumakain ng baboy, hindi na kumakain ng kahit anong mamantika, wala ng fried foods, at marami na rin na grabe na yung kanilang pag-exercise, yung kanilang physical activity when it comes to its goal na parang matunaw yung taba sa katawan. Pero bakit hindi lahat successful? Kahit grabe na yung pag-avoid nila sa kanilang pagkain ng fatty foods, hindi na sila kumakain ng kahit anong karne, umiiwas na sila sa lahat ng pinirito, and grabe sila kung maka-exercise, bakit hindi pa rin lahat ay successful? This is because yung sikreto sa pagtunaw ng taba sa katawan lies in understanding kung ano yung level at kung paano i-control yung insulin sa ating katawan. Yes, insulin is the key kung paano matunaw yung taba sa katawan. 'Di ba? Yung insulin, saan natin yan naririnig? Mostly, naririnig natin yung insulin when it comes to glucose metabolism. Akala natin yung insulin ay related lang sa blood sugar. Akala natin yung insulin ay nagpapababala ng blood sugar. Pero bakit ito pinaka-importanting hormone na kailangang makilala natin when it comes to fat burning? I will show you just 4 slides for you to understand how insulin works. So insulin, for the longest time, ito lang yung alam natin na siya yung makakapagpapasok ng glucose sa kinakain nating asukal. Yung glucose na ito ay hindi lang basta galing sa table sugar o sa honey o muscovado o mga kung ano-anong matatamis. But this glucose can also be coming from your starch, yung kanin, yung tinapay, yung pandesal, yung noodles, yung crackers, yung mga biskwit, yung dessert, yung mamon na parating binibigay sa mga bata, yung mga fruit juices. So all of those will produce glucose in your body. And kakailanganin ng insulin para makapasok ito. So anong relationship ng insulin going to our lipid or yung taba sa katawan? I will show you our next slide. And para maintindihan ninyo yung other purpose ng insulin sa ating katawan. So let's look at this article which is saying kung ano yung epekto ng insulin sa ating muscles and sa ating adipose tissue, or it's the scientific name of fats in our body. So ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Major effects of insulin sa ating muscle at sa ating taba would be carbohydrate metabolism. Ito yung pag-process ng glucose and pagtaas ng transport o pag-process ng glucose across the cell membrane, pag-improve ng glycolysis o yung pagkagamit ng glucose as energy, at nagsistimulate din ito ng glycogen synthesis o yung pagkaroon ng storage form ng glycogen. But I want you to focus on the blue color. Ito yung effect ng insulin when it comes to lipid metabolism. Sabi dito, pinapababa niya yung rate ng lipolysis. Ibig sabihin, yung insulin, siya yung nagbibigay ng paghinto o pagbablock ng lipolysis, ibig sabihin yung pagkatunaw ng taba. Dahil kung wala palang insulin, natural pala na tinutunaw ng ating katawan yung taba para gawing energy. However, kapag merong insulin, eto, yung process na ito is being blocked. So, sabi dyan, number 1, dinidecrease niya yung rate ng lipolysis. So, pinapahina niya yung fat na metabolism o pagkatunaw. Letter B, stimulate fatty acid and triacylglycerol synthesis. So anong ibig sabihin nito? Hindi lang niya pinapahina yung pagtunaw ng taba, but siya mismo yung nagsistimulate na gumawa ng mas marami pang taba. This is the reason why na kahit gaano pa pag-avoid natin, kahit gaano yung remove natin ng pag-lessen natin ng intake ng taba sa ating pagkain, we still have high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high VLDL sa ating mga dugo. This is because it's the insulin that is dictating our body, our liver to create fats. That is also the reason why if you are eating low in fats, all the more that you are forcing your body to produce more fats. And letter C, increases uptake of triglycerides from the blood into adipose tissue. So yung mga taba na nakalutang-lutang sa ating bloodstream, ito ay pinapapasok sa ating adipose cells which increases fat build-up kaya mas tumataba pa tayo. And lastly, it decreases the rate of fatty acid oxidation in muscle and liver. So pinapa-stop din niya, tinitigilan din niya yung paggamit ng taba sa ating muscles at sa ating atay para gawin itong energy o para magamit ito o para madunaw. So as you see, yung effect ng insulin ay dalawa. Pinapababa niya yung paggamit ng taba and all the more pinapataas niya yung pagparami. Nagkakaroon pa ito ng fatty build-up. So, yun yung pinaka-importanteng kailangan natin malaman. That is why yung sikreto sa pagtunaw ng taba is actually about controlling insulin because the moment we lower down our insulin, we will automatically burn fats. So, moving forward, magkakaroon na tayo on our third slide which is ano yung sikreto naman kung paano mapababa yung insulin. So para maintindihan natin yan, tingnan natin yung impact ng iba't ibang pagkain when it comes to insulin. I will show you this next slide for you to understand. Don't worry, this is just going to be a short episode para wag kayong mabored for you to see kung ano yung ating insulin when it comes to food intake. So this diagram will show yung sa ating y-axis is the blood insulin level and yung ating sa x-axis naman is yung time o yung oras. So nakikita natin dito among the three macronutrient, the food groups that we are eating, kung kakain pala ng taba yung isang tao na purong taba lamang, for example, like butter o di kaya heavy cream o di kaya like taba ng baboy, pure fat, yung impact pala niya sa insulin is sobrang baba lang. Very, very minimal. Whereas kung kakain ka siguro ng pork chop, so meron na siyang protein, meron ng lean part o chicken, meron na siyang insulin response. At yung maganda dito, yung kanyang insulin response, although meron siyang average insulin response, pero hindi rin ito ganon katagal. So it's just enough time na magkakaroon ng panahon na wala na yung insulin impact dito sa pagkain ng proteins. But the very important aspect that we have to understand here is the impact ng carbohydrate when it comes to insulin. Sobrang taas and that insulin spike is actually already very, very high. Kaya ang rason kung bakit halos hindi natutunaw ng taba yung mga tao, it's because kahit pa iniiwasan nila yung kanilang fat intake, but they are actually overdoing their carbohydrate intake. At kapag parating nakataas yung iyong carbohydrate intake, especially after every 1 to 2 hours ay bumabagsak na naman ang iyong blood glucose. So, maghahanap ka na naman ng pagkain. So, it will spike again. So, if you can imagine, parating nakataas yung inyong insulin if every 2 hours, every 3 hours kayo ay kumakain ng carbohydrates. That is why there is no way for you to burn or tunawin yung taba. For other people, it causes build-up sa kanilang katawan na like eto ay tumataba talaga sila tingnan. But other people don't have the fat build-up na obvious. Minsan, mas nakakatakot is the fat build-up that are actually just inside their bloodstream. Tumataas ng triglycerides, nagkakaroon ng fatty liver, mataas na visceral fats, and that is related to too much carbohydrate intake. So if you want to lower your insulin levels in the body, actually hindi nyo kailangan ganon kaiwasan yung taba sa pagkain and proteins. What you need to control more is yung carbohydrate. So we are not saying na hindi ka na magkakaroon ng control when it comes to eating proteins and fats, but the most important part that you have to control if you wish to control your carbohydrate, your insulin impact is your carbohydrates. So now, we will now move on to our last slide, which is yung impact ng insulin sa ating katawan when it comes to metabolism. And eto yun. I think this one you will appreciate. So this is two-way. So merong green and orange. The green one would be the effect of insulin, and the orange one is eto yung opposite ng insulin. So, kapag mataas si insulin, mababa si glucagon. Kapag mataas si glucagon, mababa si insulin. So, you can see here na kapag mataas pala yung insulin, yung adipose tissue or yung pagkakaroon ng taba sa katawan ng build-up at pagpadami nito at pagdedeposito nito sa muscles ay sobra-sobra. Whereas kapag mababa si insulin at mataas si glucagon, yung adipose tissue o yung taba ay natutunaw at eto ay nako-convert into ketones at yung ketones siya na yung ating gagamiting energy. And para sa mga taong nagtatanong kung ano-ano yung mga carbohydrates na included sa nagpapataas ng ating insulin. So, titingnan natin yung kung ano yung resulta when we search carbohydrates. So, as you can see there, hindi lang ito basta mga asukal o matatamis lamang. So, even fruits are carbohydrates. Even this kind of grains, mga tinapay, puro po yan carbohydrates. So, if you want to lower down your insulin para magsimula ng matunaw yung mga excess na taba sa katawan, you might want to avoid these foods, these carbohydrates. At ano na lang yung kakainin natin when it comes to this? So, we will check our JGC Rojo food listing na natin. Kung makita natin, food list para malaman natin, and that food list is actually in here. So makikita lang yan, nandyan yan sa ating Facebook page. You can check on the save list at kung ano-ano yung mga pagkain nasa save list natin. It's mostly this one. So what we try to make use of here is kung eto man yung usual na pagkain o usual na sinasabing food pyramid, huwag ito basta-basta sundin because this food pyramid is actually puro carbohydrates, yung bottom two na ito, and what you can eat more are the meat and protein. So you can just focus more on eating meat, on eating vegetables, and ililimit muna yung pagkain ng carbs, especially the sweet fruits, and focus more on green leafy vegetables and the meat if you want to lower down your insulin levels in the body, because as you lower down your insulin level in the body, your body will just naturally go into a state of lipolysis or fat burning. So those things are just one of the benefits of why we do low carb nutrition, to lower our insulin in our body and also facilitate fat burning, and at the same time lower down our inflammation sa ating katawan. If you wish to know more, we have a masterclass for that. Message nyo lang po yung admins natin. And of course, for food inspirations, meron tayong Life Without Rice and Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community. Yun lang po muna for now. I'll see you again in our next video. So remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe.